How about the Fisherman's Market softball team? Guys, come on up. It's going to be fun to see who gets the chair. I think Daryl's going to get the chair. There you go. Fellows, welcome. Thank you. Here we go. It's 25 years ago that this group of then teenagers brought glory to themselves, Halifax and Nova Scotia. They had grown up together, played softball, football, and hockey together, scrapped with each other, but respected each other's talent and learned how to win together. Strat Kane, a member of the team, speaks about this connection.
This group of individuals not only played baseball together, but we played hockey together, and we also played football together. So it was a pretty close-knit group. You know, I'd say on probably half or three-quarters of the team. It's like we went to school together, played sports together, so we were pretty close and pretty connected all the way through.
They were also competitive. Many had started playing softball in the Highland Park minor softball program as kids of 7 and 8 years old. Now at age 16, 17, and 18, they were in their second year of midget fastball and had a determined goal. The summer before, Fisherman's Market had lost in provincials to their arch rivals from the Highland region, many of that team from Guysborough and Antigonish. The rivalry wasn't bitter, but the games were always tensely competed. By the time the teams met in the provincials in 1981, Fisherman's Market had played 63 games, winning 40 and tying 2. They competed in a men's intermediate C League through the week and played intermediate level tournaments on the weekends. They learned how to win and learned how to lose, which they did 21 times through the season. This year they were ready for provincials and ready to go to nationals. Head coach Daryl Tingley had prepared his charge as well. Each of the previous several years, these guys from Highland Park had won a provincial title. They weren't expected to lose to Guysborough in 1980, but they were outplayed. Now it was time for revenge.
We strengthened the team knowing that we'd have to be one notch better than we were the year before to ensure that we'd be able to get out of the province and represent the province at the nationals.
We had a lot of good athletes, says pitcher first baseman Stan Henniger. Handstand? Right on. We had no weaknesses. We could all hit. We had great defense. We had strong pitching. They were undefeated at provincials, allowing one unearned run in 4 games. They beat their arch rival 10-zip behind Steve Potty's pitching in the opener, shut out Shubenacadie 1-0 with Stan Henniger pitching, knocked off New Glasgow 4-1 with Potty again winning, and finally rode Henniger's arm to a 7-0 shutout of Guysborough in the final.
That was a very emotional time because, I mean, everybody was pumped, everybody wanted to win, and to come out of there with the provincial crown knowing what it means to a young fellow. We're mostly 16-year-olds, there's some 15-year-olds. That's quite a thing to go and represent your province at a national tournament.
Fisherman's Market was off to Swift Current, Saskatchewan with a medal placing in mind. Here's what Potty told the Chronicle Herald before the team left. I think we'll be in the top 3. With our defense and the way our bats are moving, we have high hopes. No Nova Scotia youth team had ever won a national softball championship. A year before, the Brookfield Elks won the senior men's title during a long run of strong performances by that team. These midget-age players knew what Brookfield had done and wanted to duplicate it.
We had a very strong hitting lineup, and we had what we figured was an improved pitching. We picked up Richard Connolly from Guysborough, to go along with Stan Henniger and Steve Potty, and I think Mike Miller was the other chucker. So we had 4 pitchers, and a couple of them being left-handers and a couple being right-handers.
They needed little motivation. The coaching staff's job was to keep the kids focused and to fill in a lineup that represented the individual strengths of the players. Stan Henniger recalls a big moment in the tournament.
You know, just a bunch of guys grew up in the North End primarily, and we had a practice, I think, the day before, and the Quebec team, they were from Hull, they showed up with, you know, the full practice outfits, and ball, but the gear bags all matching, and our team come in with cut-off jeans and nothing matching, and a lot of the guys were intimidated by that. And Wendell Young had played with Kitchener Rangers the year before, and I played in the Quebec League, so we'd been around. We just told the guys, don't be intimidated, and the game's played out in the field, and then we went on. We beat Hull 13-0 in 5 innings the next night.
I'll tell you what's not matching tonight, the hair then and the hair now, boys. I'm serious. Those pictures are stunning, aren't they?
We had
Connolly
confidence
threw a 4-hitter in Game 2 as Nova Scotia beat New Brunswick 7-1. Henniger playing first base homered again. In Game 3, they had to score 6 times in the 7th inning to overcome a 7-3 deficit against PEI and win 9-7. That game ended at 4:30 in the morning because of long rain delays earlier in the day. The next day, Connolly tossed a 3-hitter to beat the Northwest Territories 12-1 and advanced Nova Scotia to the elimination round with a 4-0 record. They opened the next round with a 5-2 win over Saskatchewan, scoring 4 in the 6th to pull out the win behind Henniger. They suffered their only loss of the week next, a 6-4 setback to BC when they gave up 5 in the first inning. They came back against host Swift Current, scoring in the first extra inning, the 8th, to win 5-4 to advance to the final against BC. They would have to beat BC twice to win it all. In what proved to be a semifinal, Henniger, pitching his 3rd game of that day, blanked BC 2-0 on 3 hits. A short time later, he beat BC again, this time 4-1, allowing only 4 hits. The Nova Scotians were in the top 3 all right, as Potty had predicted. They were number 1 in the country.